I appreciate what the union has done. Getting this deal hammered out, that's fantastic news, but it shouldn't have taken this long, and I point the finger at the White House and Congress.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
IBEW members at major railways got some paid sick days. That was announced last week. That was a major point of contention during the negotiations last year that almost led to a strike. From the IBEW's press release, the IBEW and BNSF Railway reached an agreement on April 20th to grant members 4 short-notice paid sick days, with the ability to also convert up to 3 personal days to sick days. So remember, one of the issues with not having paid sick days is that you couldn't take off on short notice, right? And if you did, you would be disciplined for it, even if you were sick. And you could see how that would be an issue and how that would create some, negative incentives for workers. And so now they have 4 short notice paid sick days that they can take on short notice if they become sick or incapacitated or whatever. And then they can also convert up to 3 personal days to sick days if they need to. So the union also reached similar understandings with CSX and Union Pacific on March 22nd and with Norfolk Southern on March the 10th. Unused sick time at the end of a year can be paid out or rolled into a worker's 401k retirement account. Railroad Department Director Al Russo specifically credits Bernie Sanders for his support, saying, quote, "We truly compliment his effort to bring dignity to workers in the rail industry. Without it, we very likely would not have gotten what we have gained today." And that's interesting in that press release because there was this kind of like yellow dog Democrat, I guess maybe you could say, on Twitter that was using this opportunity to attack the quote unquote left for being upset at Biden for breaking the rail strike. And so look at what Biden did. While, the union does say that they appreciate Biden's efforts, they go a little bit farther with their appreciation of Bernie, and so I thought that was kind of interesting, and
yeah, I think anyone paying attention who is being honest with themselves can recognize who has been the bigger advocate there for the rail workers, Joe Biden versus Bernie Sanders. I mean, there's no real question. I don't see how any objective observer could somehow say that Biden has done more or Bernie has done less. Bernie has been pretty clear in his advocacy for the rail workers to have sick leave, to have the right to strike as well, right. Which, Biden has talked about sick days, but, he busted the strike. He did what he could to force the unions to capitulate to the companies without the sick leave in hand, right? It shouldn't have taken until now to get the sick leave. I appreciate what the union has done, and I send them all of my support for getting this deal hammered out. That's fantastic news, but it shouldn't have taken this long, and I really point the finger at the White House and Congress. Yeah, they intervened, they made clear their priorities. So shout out to Senator Sanders for staying true to these workers and supporting these workers. When so many of his colleagues in Washington totally abandoned them and betrayed them.
Absolutely. And even more important than that, shout out and credit to the workers who created a credible strike threat, right? And the power that they have, because, Bernie has been doing this same kind of thing, advocating for workers for as long as he's been a politician.
Right. I mean, but he's more or less the same guy he was 40 years ago. And some people knock him for that. I personally respect that he's, stayed true to his values all this time. But you're right. It makes a big difference when you have organized workers out in the field, so to speak, who can back up those bits of support you get from politicians. And so, I credit RWU, Rail Workers United, for the work that they've been doing, and all the union activists and allies out there who've been pushing things forward on the rails, because there's a desperate need for reform. I agree with RWU that the rail should be nationalized. I think the East Palestine disaster has been a clear indication of some of the issues between the strike breaking in around the holidays and then the East Palestine disaster. I think, again, anyone paying attention, you have to recognize that there are real serious problems with the rail industry in this country, and it's going to be up to it's going to be up to all of us really to support the workers there and build more support politically for these workers.
Yeah. The Rail Department Director Russo, he said that talks are continuing towards reaching a sick day agreement with Canadian Pacific and Kansas City, both recently designated as a Class 1 rail carrier by the Surface Transportation Board. So the fight's definitely not over, but it's a step in the right direction, and we're definitely going to keep supporting them until all of them get all the sick days that they want. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.